We know that on May 30th, 2018, the 5th District Court of Appeal in Fresno issued a unanimous decision that the Agricultural Labor Relations Board, ALRB, violated farm workers' constitutional and statutory rights by refusing to count the votes of the farm workers who worked at Gerawan Farms in Fresno County, who casted their votes 5 years ago, essentially stripping them of their right to decide for themselves whether or not to be represented by the UFW union. And still today, July 6th, the Gerawan farm worker votes have still not been counted. Jesse Rojas is a farm worker rights activist and spokesperson for Pick Justice. Jesse Rojas, thanks for being with us today on the California Ag Today podcast.
Patrick, thank you for having me on, like always. And I wanted to give you some good news from the employees, the Gerawan employees again. Sylvia Lopez's and the employee's attorney, Anthony Raimondo from Raimondo & Associates, they just filed a motion with the 5th District Court of Appeals in Fresno on July 3rd, just a few days ago, right before Independence Day. And I think it's very symbolic that this just happened, because what the motion says in essence is that it's ordering the ALRB to simply count the votes, to just get a tally of the ballots, not to certify the results, not to stop litigating or appealing through the normal process. It's just let the employees and all parties and the public involved know the outcome of the election, because as we keep saying, anything can occur. Right now, as we think, those ballots are in the possession of the ALRB in the Visalia office in a safe, presumably. We don't know. I mean, they've gone to a lot of extents and a lot of taxpayer dollars spent to suppress these workers. So we can expect anything, in my opinion. Pipe can break, a fire can erupt. I mean, anything can happen, and there will be no remedy ever to the violation and the civil rights violation of these thousands of workers. So it's simply saying, order the state to count the ballots, and then continue through the process. The parties can still appeal to the state Supreme Court. The workers have said it multiple times: destroy them, burn them, but let us know the outcome. And it's worth noting something. This is not just a remedy to the civil rights violation of the thousands of Gerawan workers that do not want to be represented by the UFW. It also includes those few that supported the UFW almost 5 years ago in that vote, and that also did not know the outcome of the election.
Jesse, that's interesting. Even the votes have not been counted for some farm workers who are pro-UFW union, huh?
Absolutely. I mean, it's very few. I mean, it's obvious it was an overwhelming majority that does not want and did not want the UFW. But this applies to all parties. What harm can come from simply knowing the results? This is a great question for Governor Brown, for the ALRB and its members, and for the UFW. What are you afraid of? You can still litigate, you can still appeal, you can still destroy them as much as you want. But why do you not want everyone to know the results of the election, especially if the UFW continues to claim that they represent the workers and that the workers support them every time they go to demonstration? So what are you afraid of? Just simply count the votes. And now we're hoping that with this motion, the 5th District Court of Appeals will respond, and hopefully they will do this. Hopefully they will simply order the state to count the ballots, period.
Perfect. We have to ask you, Jesse, that the 5th District Court of Appeal asked the ALRB to count the votes. So what do we hope the Anthony Raimondo motion asking the ALRB to count the votes will do?
Well, it's very simple. We all know how these legal processes go. They can be very complicated, especially in this one. It's unprecedented. There's never been anything near this in labor relations in the state of California. This is historic for even those attorneys who have been doing this type of stuff for decades. They've never gotten to this far. We have no idea what's going to happen. But we know very well that it's going to be appealed by the UFW and the ALRB to the state Supreme Court. That can be dragged on for months or years, plus other things that could happen in the way. So how many more years have to pass before simply they know the outcome of the election?
So, Jesse, the document that Anthony Raimondo, that he delivered to the court, and of course Raimondo is the attorney for Sylvia Lopez, well, that document carries some weight, doesn't it?
Now, this is actually a writ, a motion, a writ, basically, that the 5th District Court of Appeals has the power to directly mandate and order the state agency, the ALRB, to just get a tally of the votes. And if they don't want that, then there's another option in there. If you don't want the outcome of the election to be public, you can order the ALRB to tally the votes and at least give those results to the custody of the court, just for the court to know that until all this gets figured out over the years, hopefully not, but until all this litigation gets figured out, the court can actually get those results, and at least we can save that democratic right anything can happen and these workers will never know the outcome. Just let the parties involved know the outcome. That's it. That's simple.
And with all this back and forth with attorneys and orders to count the vote, there's really no date. There's no date to set. Hey, you got to have the votes counted by this date.
I wish it was that easy. The workers keep asking me, okay, when is it going to happen? When are we going to celebrate? When are we going to get together to finally see those votes and ballots open? The reality is, these legalities, that's how they work. They can take a while. There's briefs and responses that can be filed for different parties. Don't forget, it's the workers on one side, the company on another, and the UFW and the ALRB on another. So there's technically 4 parties to all these multiple cases that have been going around. So at this point, we know the 5th District Court of Appeals has done well when they look at this issue here locally. They're a real court, real judges, neutral, who understand, civil rights and workers' rights.
And those 5th District Court of Appeals judges said it many times in that 138-page decision.
So now we're hoping that soon, hopefully in the next month or 2 months, we can get a response on this motion that was just filed.
Thanks, Jesse. We'll be looking for a decision, hopefully soon.
As long as the workers never give up, Pick Justice will continue to be around. And thank you and Lori for continuing to do the great work you all do.